What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Run with Jay channel. So today we're going to be talking all about Strava. So we're going to take a look at the basic features of Strava and comparing it to the premium version of Strava to see if all of those premium features are worth the upgrade. And have people come up to me and ask me if the premium features are worth it. So hopefully this video will answer your questions and give you a better idea if the basic version or the premium version would be for you. So if you guys are new to this channel, welcome. Please hit that like and subscribe button as well as the bell for notifications. And for my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your contribution and support. So let's get this review started. So if you're new to Strava or watching this video, you're probably wondering how much it costs to have the premium version of Strava. Well, the cost is $59.99 a year, or roughly about $5 a month. And if you do choose to pay all of that at once, you do save about 37% off the total, as compared to if you wanted to do monthly, which is $7.99 a month. However, the total for the year would be $95.88. So if you do choose to pay it all at once annually, you do save about 37% from the total price. So what are you getting on the premium version that you're not getting on the free version? Well, first off, for the free version, you'll have your standard activity recording, meaning it'll record every activity that you're doing and give you your map of the activity if you're outside with GPS support. And it'll also have device support, meaning it'll be compatible and it'll connect with your watches and any other third-party devices that you would have, including the Whoop new device. Also, you'll have access to social network, which means you'll be able to look at other people's runs or activities and be able to comment and like and interact with other people as well, similar to like what you would do on Facebook. So next we're going to look at an overview of what you would see on the free version, and then we'll take a look at all of the features that you would be able to do on the premium version. So there's also a 30-day free trial that you can sign up for new accounts. So if you're interested in checking out all of the benefits, be sure to take advantage of that free trial. So I've created a test account here to demonstrate how it would look with the free account. So the overall layout and everything will look very similar. So this is the website version, and the app version might look a little bit different if you're using your smartphone. The shortcuts and buttons will most likely be on the bottom of your mobile phone. So with any of the free items, you'll be able to see that it's not grayed out. It'll be white, and everything that you would have to pay for would be grayed out under subscription. And that'll be the same under every drop down. So under training, you'll be able to see training activities and my activities, but everything else like the log, plans, power curve, they're all you have to pay for. And in explore, same thing. You'll be able to see local, running races, etc. But everything else you have to pay, and challenges, of course, you'll be able to go into that. So in the main screen, you'll be able to see the timeline or activities feed of your followers, and also people you're following, as well as your activities. And then on the left, it'll give you a basic overview of how many miles you've done, either running, biking, or swimming. So nothing too fancy here, but for some people, that's all they really need. And then if you complete an activity, when you upload it, basically you'll see something like this, which is a basic overview of your run. It will give you like a timeline of your run. That'll give you the distance, the average elevation, as well as the pace you're going. So really basic data that any runner that's not really serious into their training would need. So it's more than enough information, in my opinion. So now we'll look at some of the drop downs from the free version. So in dashboard, you're able to see things like the activity feed, which is basically your main page where it shows you the activities from people you're following, people in your clubs, or your own activities as well, which will show here in the timeline. And then in training, you'll be able to see training calendar, which is free as well, where you'll list all of your activities throughout the year. And it'll show these like little lines sticking out for all of these single activities throughout that month. And then it'll give you a little mini timeline on the top left, once you have a lot of activities throughout the year, to see like a graph of all of your activities. And then on the right side, it'll give you an overview of your year as well. And then in training, Similar, if you click on my activities, it'll show you all of your activities, but it'll list them for you, and then you can search for a certain activity or sort. So there's a lot of possibilities. And then next is segments, which is very popular on Strava. So segments are basically like routes that athletes have created, either of popular run areas or routes. So you're able to see what segments are, and you're actually able to go there if you want to kind of challenge the record for who's on there. And you're able to see the top 10 list of who's fastest to run that segment. So segments tend to be very competitive with some people. So some people are out there just to try to beat all of the segments and be number one on the list. So it's a fun thing to do if you want to challenge other people that's been on there, or you want to get to the top 10 of the rankings for that segment. So that's another thing that's interesting. And segment search is if you want to search for a segment wherever in the world, you basically type in the location, and then it'll pull up all of the different segments around the area, and it'll give you the distance, elevation, and grade. And then you can use this if you're traveling or just want to look up a different segment in certain parts of the world. And the athlete search is pretty self-explanatory, where if you want to look for an athlete, and then here in the apps, if you want to add another third-party app to your running as well. And then running races is if you want to look for a local race around the area. And then local here is if you're traveling and you want to see what routes are available in other countries of the world. That's a really neat function to have. So for most of these premium features, they would be available for the website as well as the mobile app version. But for demonstration purposes, I'll be using the web version because it's a lot more clearer. And then I'll mention whether these are for mobile or web only when we get to certain features. So the first thing we're going to look at for the premium version is route planning. So creating a route is a really cool feature that Strava has, and this is available for both the mobile, which is in beta now, and the PC version. I like to do my routes on the PC version simply because the screen is bigger and it's easier to see. So when you click on your create a route, you have the option to create a ride, a run, or walk, and then you can either use what's most popular and change the elevation, as well as choose which surfaces you prefer. And also you can use your personal heat map as a map preference, which means all the places you've run a lot, or a global heat map. And then you can actually show the segments that are available in that map you're looking at, and you can customize it to miles and kilometers, or change the map to satellite, hybrid, and etc. So to start with a route, you basically just click on the map anywhere you see a road that's usually highlighted in blue. Then you can basically start drawing and creating your route. And as you're creating your route, you can see that the numbers below are being updated to give you the information on how long your route is, the elevation, as well as what the estimated moving time would be, whether you're running or not. And on the top right, you're able to have options to undo or clear, and just give you the total. And then if you click elevation profile, you'll see a nice graph showing you the timeline of all of your information, as well as the elevation throughout the run. And then once you're done, you can just save your route, and it'll show up in the My Routes option. And then you can also make this public or private, which is nice. So once you're done, you just save to My Routes, and then you'll be able to find it in your My Routes preference when you go back to your profile. So we're going to go back to the profile and check out the My Routes section. Right now it's empty. So when you click on it, it'll have a create new route option here as well, which will take you to pretty much the same thing. But once you create a route, it would show up here. So the next feature we're going to look at is segment competition. So Segment Explorer is a really neat feature, and it gives Strava users the opportunity to have friendly competition with other users. So you go into Segment Explorer under the Explore option, and you can do this on your phone as well. Basically, you search for an area, and then you can search by cycling or running, and whether it's flat, hilly, or steep. And then you can zoom in the map and find a segment which you'll see a route for. And then we're going to use the Brooklyn Bridge segment as an example. So when you click on it, you'll see the total distance, the grade, and the elevation gain, as well as total attempts made by Strava athletes. And then when you click on more details, you'll see your stats on how when you attempted this, the fastest times ever in that segment, and the most efforts by someone in that segment. So last 90 days looks like one person had 21 attempts. And then when you go down more, you'll see more details of the total attempts by over 11,000 people. And you'll see the date and time, and then you can also sort by the club and age or weight class to see who has attempted this segment. So segments are a really nice feature. There's some people that are quote unquote segment hunters that just look for segments and try to take over the top place. So it gives you something to do if you're ever bored with Strava. So next we'll cover both the training dashboard as well as the heart rate and power analysis. So the training dashboard is a really neat feature for runners. You can actually plan your training. So you can go to the training profile, and under subscription, there's a bunch of training options. So we'll go into training plans first. Once you're on training plans, you're able to customize a plan for a certain race, like a 5K, 10K, half marathon, or marathon. And you can also choose by cycling or running. And then all you basically do is click on the view plan, where you can customize some information of how you would like, and then you just basically hit start plan, and it'll automatically customize a workout plan for you, this is powered by Macmillan Running. So if you scroll down, it gives you a very detailed description of what you should be doing each day, which is a really nice feature for people who are looking for a plan for a specific race. So also under the training drop down, you have something called Power Curve, which if you have one of those power devices, a third-party device that you can attach on, it'll give you an overview of your power effort throughout the time. And then lastly, you have something called Fitness and Freshness. Basically, if you use your heart rate monitor on your watch or anything like that, it'll give you an overview of how your fitness is going over time. So you'll see a graph. It'll show you your fitness level. And also you can sort by activities, and then also by relative effort, and then you can sort by all time, last 2 years, or last year. So this will give you a good idea of how your fitness is doing over time, and see where you can do some more improvements. So this is a really cool feature that most people don't really use as well. Another point in regards to training, so whenever you complete a run, you can check out the training analysis, which is only available on the premium version. So it'll give you a breakdown of the graph of your race or your run to see how you did on each lap, give you the percentages, also your pace, and then on race analysis, pace distribution, you'll be able to see during the run what paces you were hitting for each of the run, and it'll give you more details for how long you were in that pace. And then relative effort will just give you an idea how that run compared to your last few runs in the past few months. And then heart rate will take your heart rate and then analyze your run based on how your heart rate was, and see which zone you were. And also, if you see those red arrow next to a feature, that usually means it's a subscriber only feature. So next we're going to cover advanced metrics. So for people looking for even more information and data about their training, Strava offers options for you to connect with other third-party apps. Under Explore, you're able to go to the apps function, and you'll be able to see all of these different training apps, and you can incorporate into your daily training. They all have different purposes, and they might help certain people who are looking for a more specific type of workout information. So things are like race pace and watts board and Xert, that gives you a lot more data insight into your training. So if people looking for more information, they can check out the apps page. And then there's also a performance analysis tab in the apps page. So for people looking for more performance analysis data, so these are catered to both runners and cyclists. So if you want even more stats about your performance, be sure to check out some of these apps that'll connect to Strava for people that are that need more data that they're already getting from the premium version of Strava. So a lot of these apps are pretty interesting. So if you're curious, be sure to check these out. So next we'll take a look at goal setting. So goal setting is another nice feature on the premium version of Strava. So under dashboard and my goals, you're able to set a goal or track a challenge for yourself. So if you click on set a goal, you're able to set a power goal or a segment goal. So with power goal, you'll need one of those devices that tracks like this chest strap or something that hooks on up to you that are able to track the power. So it would just with a standard watch, most of the time it won't work. So keep that in mind. So you can set a time for your power goal, and once you create it, it'll give you a deadline to complete it. And of course, you can update that deadline, and it'll show up here in your goals. So that's a pretty cool feature to keep you motivated and keep you, pursuing your fitness goals. Also, if you want to delete it, you can just simply hit delete, and it'll delete that. Now, if you want a segment goal, which you can just go to similar to the segment explorer, you will type in a goal or a segment that you're looking for, and then just press set goal on that segment. And same thing, you'll just press what the time that you're looking for that segment. And then once you create it, it'll show up also in the segment itself for people to view that you've created a goal, and it'll also show up on your my goals dashboard. So it's a nice feature to keep you up on your toes and that you're improving over time. So next we'll look at something called the training log. So the training log is a really cool feature that I like to use a lot. And so under training, you would hit training log, and basically it takes you to a nice visual overview of your training. And then you're able to see all from your every week how your training is going. It'll sort it by runs, walk, and then on the right side it'll show you all the races that you had in your 2020 and all the years before that. And you also can sort by runs or walks, weight training, ride, or anything like that. And there's also tons of other sports. If you watch sports that I can sort your training log by. And then you can also sort it by time or distance, elevation, or relative effort. So this is a great tool to kind of visualize how your training is going in a big picture way. And you can also see where you're missing out or what days you're not training really hard. So it's a nice overview, gives you more detail of how your training is going over time. So next we're going to take a look at compare efforts. So compare efforts is a pretty neat feature, and it's used for if you run a certain route a lot and then you want to see how you're improving on that certain route. So you would just click on a run that you did, and then there will be a matched run option, and then you'll be able to see how you've done in the past and see if you're improving. So it'll give you the breakdown of all the different runs in the past and your paces, and plus and minus the time, as well as your relative effort compared to the previous runs. And then the graph gives you a nice this review of how you're looking and how you're improving over your, and it'll give you an idea of if you're improving or not, or where you can do better on. Also with compare efforts, if you're in a segment, you can actually compare how two people were in that particular segment to see how they ran faster or slower compared to each other, and to see the time difference. So this is also another cool feature with compare efforts. You're able to put a few people together or yourself and compare it with other people to see how fast or slow how you ran compared to them in segments. So next we'll look at something called Beacon. So Beacon is a really cool function that you can use on the mobile app. And it basically is a live tracking feature that lets people know, or your contacts, if you ever go out for a run and you want to share your location with them. So you can either connect this to your Garmin watch, or if you have any other smart watches, they might be compatible. Basically, you add your safety contacts that you want to contact when you go out for a run. So this is really nice if you're going out for a long run or somewhere far you've never been to, and you just want to let people know in case you do get lost for safety. And once you start the run, you can send a text to them, and then basically they'll be able to track you. I do believe that the users do need a Garmin or a Strava account to be able to live track you. And you can also select Beacon from right when you start a run. It's on the bottom right. There is a Beacon option to send Beacon or start it when you're going for a run or ride. So next we'll take a look at personal heat map. So personal heat maps is a really cool feature. Basically the heat map lets you see all the places that you've run pretty much all over the world, and you can sort it by cycling or running or by all time or by just a certain year. And this is only available to you. Nobody else can generally see it. And if you have your settings set to private, or if it's not a public run, then you won't be able to see it on the heat map. So it have to be a public run. And then when you generate the map, you'll basically be able to see all the places that you run in, and the red indicates places you run often, and blue are just routes that you have ran before in the past. So this is a really cool feature to see where you're running a lot, to give you an idea of what kind of places you like to run in, and just to it's like a cool thing to see. I mean, I guess it could be functional in a way, but you can use it depending on however you like, but it's just nice to see, get an idea if you go somewhere you've been to before where you ran in the past, so you don't have to, find a new route in the future. So next we'll take a look at something called Partner Perks. So Partner Perks is basically a place you can go where you can get discounts on companies that Strava has partnered with, and these are always updated constantly. So be sure to always check it out if you're looking for discounts on things like New Balance or Active or Peppermint. So a lot of companies that Strava has partnered with, you're able to get discounts on, and this is just a perk that comes with the premium membership for Strava. So that's a really cool feature. So if you like any of these companies, you can get discounts on some of the products that they sell, and these are always changing. So you can always check back to see if there's new companies out there, or if you don't see anything else you like at the time. And next we're going to look at something called premium support. So with premium support, basically it means that if you have a question or anything, you'll get expedited support from Strava. That could either come through an email question to them, or there is also a chat feature, I believe, on the app version. So if you need to contact them for any reason, with the premium version, you'll get expedited support. So there's nothing really too fancy or complicated about this. So another feature that I want to talk about that's related to segments is something called local legends. So they're very similar to segments, but instead of showing the person that's done the fastest in that segment, there's also another like title that a person can obtain, which is something called local legend. And basically that's for people who have done the most efforts in that segment. So this person has done this segment about 48 times, and it calculates it within the last 90 days. So people who might not be the fastest, all around, but they've completed the most efforts, they will also get the wreath, honor of the title being the local legend in that segment. So if you click on the local legend, you'll be able to see their statistics in the last 90 days. There are more information about their running and their miles, and also give you a better idea of how many segments you'll need in order to beat this person to take the crown. So that this person has 48, which is pretty tough to beat in any segment. And then if you're looking down, it'll give you more information on the people that have ran this segment. So local legend is another thing that they've added on to the segments to create more competition. So for people who might not be the fastest, they can also take pride and take a crown in a segment by being a local legend in there. So which version should you get? That really depends on the individual. If you're just a casual runner or a cyclist that's just looking to see, basic steps or calories, and have basic, tracking of your running or cycling on a daily basis, then maybe the basic version is more than enough for you. But if you're a person that's training for a race, or really into statistics, and also things about like heart rate, training patterns, or even want to set up a training plan, maybe the premium version would be worth it for you. So for most people, the basic version will be more than enough, because they're just basically tracking their normal runs. They don't want really anything fancy. In my opinion, I hardly use a lot of the premium benefits as well, but when I do need it, it's definitely helpful to have And some of these features, even though I don't use them much, are really nice to have, and they're kind of cool to check out, especially things like the heat map. So if you're a person that likes a lot of data and likes to see, a lot of information about your run, or you're really serious about your sport and you're trying to train for something special and you want to see how you're progressing, then maybe the premium Strava subscription might be for you, and it might be worth it. And regardless the case, there's a 30-day free trial that you could sign up for to test it out and see for yourself if it is worth for you. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this video was helpful in helping you decide which version to get if you're on the fence. And if you guys have any other comments, feedback, or questions, please feel free to leave them down below. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you guys are staying safe out there and your training's going well. And I'll talk to you guys on the next run.